Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. Let's take a look here at SUI, see what's going on. This coin is actually looking fairly strong compared to the majority of the market, only down 3% at this moment, where a lot of coins hit a good 10 to 15% on the way down. So pretty significant correction in case you're not up to speed. Bitcoin took a pretty big tumble yesterday from 104 down to about 97K in the last 24 hours or less. And that was a lot of it just basically fundamental catalysts and some technicals too, but mostly fundamental. Whereas we had a basis point decrease, but there's not enough on the horizon next year to essentially warrant a lower inflation. Inflation's going up, and in turn, Bitcoin's going down. Traditional markets too. There's a lot of reasons, of course, but that's just kind of the bumper sticker version if you haven't already been filled in. So how does that correlate to coins like this? Well, we're going to talk about that and much more. If you're new to the channel, thanks again so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, comment below. We're going to talk today mostly about key level supports as well as potential resistance ranges as we continue to progress higher if we do. So let's take a look here, first of all, at the back-end data. Actually, no, we got to congratulate some folks here. Awesome profits here on an AVAX short, 54%. We barely missed our entry at 104.6 for Bitcoin. And again today at 101. It just continues to run just before I get a chance to analyze the charts. But I like to throw that out there and tell you, or mention that, not because of poor woe is me or poor us because we missed opportunities. More importantly, it's normal to miss them, and it's always best to do your due diligence before you jump into a trade. Okay, so again, that's kind of what happens. Unfortunately, the trade-off, if you will, for analyzing the charts and understanding, best practice. So either way you look at it here, we can see $4 as that potential area of next retracement. More importantly, 360 to 380 is that heavy concentration of liquidation. That's just based on the last 7 days of liquidation. So these are probably some low to mid leverage longs that are potentially at risk, but I really don't think so. I personally feel like we're still going to be able to maintain this range. Just depends on how Bitcoin behaves. If we keep trending lower, of course, different story altogether, but this coin does have a tendency of bouncing back quite quickly, which it's done so far. But there's no doubt we're creating lower highs and lower lows. You can see it pretty obvious. I'll show you on the charts too. That generally is a bearish sign. Same thing here as well with the delta. Liquidation delta, we have more people shorting SUI than taking longs. That's just kind of the concept here. We do look at open interest. We can recognize people are heavy at about 470. Ugh, that's a bummer. It's exactly why I say either dollar cost average or not to FOMO into a late long. I know it's easy to say, but I definitely didn't recommend taking a long at the 460, 470 range. It has to establish itself as a higher high first and or basically retest the previous resistance, which we had a pretty strong resistance there, as a new low. Anyways, I'll explain more about that here later, but simply put, just be very careful when you see a breakout for this coin to just kind of jump on in. Until we break this descending trend line, there's no reason to consider trading. So let me discuss why that is the case. Actually, I'll do that on the 4-hour time frame because that's where it's relevant. For right now in the daily time frame, 415 is that tentative support, not just based on the halfway point for our fib level, but also the 20-day SMA. Okay, so we kind of got some confluence there at 415. Hypothetically, that's the bottom for now, but you got to take that with a grain of salt for the moment because it's a very loose estimate. It really just depends on how Bitcoin behaves. If we do see here, though, we are over 50 on the RSI, generally still a positive, more bullish type of scenario. And again, I don't want you to get it twisted. This is not bullish by any stretch. It's just that we're still on the right side of tracks in most cases, but we're really, really close to losing that edge, if you will. Okay, Stochastic and MACD are both pulling back. We lose 50 on the RSI. I think that we're going to probably see further downside. We do have a fair value gap here. Just be mindful. That does come as low as this 0.65 fib level, which is a golden pocket. I would say the strongest amount of support we have for this coin is between 390 and roughly $4. I'm just kind of give you that round 10-cent range. So $3.90 to $4 even, I would say would probably be our short-term worst-case scenario. We lose that level, we're going to have a different conversation. But for right now, that's essentially where we're at. And that's, again, strictly hypothetical based on not losing this 20-day SMA. We may not even come down that low. Again, really, if Bitcoin wants to just continue to rally back up to the 100K plus range, we'll probably see this coin, like usual, be the first coin to recover instantly. Okay, it's really quick to recover. And honestly, this pullback that we're seeing here so far isn't that terrible compared to a majority of other coins. Like some of the other coins are just dumping super hard. Like here's our AVAX trade. We got in at basically 49.40 if I'm not mistaken, and rode it all the way down to basically $40. Okay, so again, awesome stuff in that regard, but also not fantastic depending on what side of the tracks you're on. Either way you look at it, if you saw my video, you'll know why we shorted that coin. And at this point, the 4-hour time frame, I want to talk about this really quick. We see the 20-day SMA hanging out here on the descending trend. So a lot of times when I draw out trend lines, I'm going to draw them concurrently in most cases with the 20-day SMA. But also, you can see every time we see a candle wake up here, a little false positive keeps getting rejected off that descending type of trend. So when you see that, it's best not to try to take a long into it. This is what breakout traders do. They keep taking longs at these levels and they keep getting destroyed. And a lot of reasons why that happens is because leverage starts to accumulate at those levels, and market makers know that. They're going to start taking profits when the price goes up that high. Okay, so they buy all these dips when other folks are trying to buy the top. So don't be another statistic here. It's easy to say, of course, hindsight's 20/20. I get that. I'm not a perfect trader either, but I can tell you that that's something you want to try to avoid. So right now, I get the concept and the the aspect of wanting to just buy every single dip, and that's actually okay. Buying the fear is in most cases the right way to go, but it depends on how you do it. High leverage long right now at support, probably not the best call, especially considering we're breaking. We haven't broken this descending trend line, and we keep breaking down further. Okay, we're under the 20 and the 50-day SMA. That puts a lot of confluence at 460. That's our resistance range for the moment. But obviously we can see here too, locally we had some support at 440 and a little bit of support here. So I would say 440 and 460 are two easy round numbers to remember. Those are some key level resistances for us if the price responds. In other words, hypothetically the price comes back up, we should expect some resistance here and the price pulls back. If it continues higher, we should expect some resistance here, right? That's generally how support and resistance levels are supposed to work. All the more reason why you want to be very careful only ever using Elliott wave or Fibonacci retracement levels. While they're beneficial and very helpful, if you don't use them in combination with other factors, you're doing yourself a significant disservice. So I know some folks in my community, they're just super, they got hard-ons for the Elliott wave and how other influencers are saying we're going to go to these levels. I think it's relevant and it's true, but if there's no key level supports or resistances or some moving averages adding to those numbers, they mean very little, right? Again, it's just a forecasting tool, whereas support and resistances, that's taking the history and establishing it, not using potential future playouts as a hypothetical, right? So again, just understand what you're learning and what you're doing and how it affects the trades, and that might benefit you a lot. Anyways, I talk a lot about that in my trading university. Please feel free to watch that if you're part of our community. Make sure, of course, you're taking advantage of that. But let's get back on track. I'm so sorry, 4-hour time frame. We're under 50 on the RSI. You don't take a long in this situation here. Hypothetically, we're getting close to 30 on the RSI with money flow index being a little bit lower. You can have some success with dead cat bounces, but again, it's inherently more risky because you're trading against the grain. We have more people shorting the market than taking longs right now. Okay, you're basically just being foolhardy in a lot of ways if you're trying to take a trade into the wrong direction. So I like to compare it to just walking against traffic or just driving against traffic. Like, have you ever turned onto a one-way street and been like, oh my gosh, this doesn't feel right, there's something wrong here? That's what you're doing. You're basically driving down one-way streets in the opposite direction if you take a long right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not discrediting the fact that this coin responds well and you could totally buy the dip and be successful. And you've had it plenty of times in the past. But we're starting to find a tentative top here, and we got a descending trend. Respect the trend. It's your friend for a reason, all right? And if you're disrespectful to your friends, maybe you'll get some disrespect back. Anyways, hourly time frame, Ichimoku Cloud, confirming on every single front here. We have 3 out of 3 reasons not to take a long and that a short position is more viable at this time. Now, I don't necessarily recommend shorting SUI. So to touch on that, and those of you who probably fast forward to the end to try to get the answer, the truth is it's laden throughout the whole entire video. So watch the whole thing before you comment. I would recommend that for starters. But when it comes to some scenarios like this here, like really, it doesn't make a ton of sense to short this coin just because of how strong and quick it can recover. So I know it seems kind of contradictory if I'm telling you not to take a long and not to take a short. Yeah, that's trading for you, folks. 95% of trading is convincing yourself not to take a trade, and there's nothing here telling me I want it to go in either direction. Mainly, I would recommend normally taking a short in any circumstance right now. That's just kind of the market. That's the way the market's moving. But this coin is such a strong recovery coin. It bounces back quickly. You're bound to get liquidated if you use high leverage. So if you're going to short with very low leverage, and And then, of course, if you're going to take it long, let's wait for the established trend line to be broken first. All right, we need a closure above, some of these key levels here. I'll identify those in our playout chart. I'll post that on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Looks something like this if you're not familiar. And again, the general consensus here is to not take any trades here. That's the recommendation because Bitcoin's looking pretty weak. We got a lot of liquidation left at 96K. We could see that first before the price starts to stabilize. Either way, check it out. Other than that, make sure you reference Bitunix too. Awesome exchange, link down below for them. $12,000 deposit bonus this month. They have deposit bonuses and rewards every single month. So as long as you use my link to register, you'll automatically be eligible for those anytime in the future. It's kind of locked in. So check it out. Anyways, cool stuff. Hope you have a good rest of your day, though. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.